Welcome back to Andi and Mich, the podcast where two sisters, two generations, and two opinions come together to talk about all the things.
Today, we're diving into a topic that hits everybody: age. But not just birthdays and back pain, we're talking about mindset and the lies we've been told about what aging means.
Because over 50 years of research says it plain. Mindset changes everything: your confidence, your creativity, and even your biology. So let's talk about rewriting the story of age.
Grab your cafecito and let's dive in.
We're talking about age and getting older and wiser. Whoop, whoop.
So let me ask you this. When did you first feel too old to do something?
That's a tough question. I think probably in my late 20s, early 30s. You start to notice it more when people start making comments like, oh, do you really want to try and change careers right now? Or do you really want to go back to school? Do you really want to wear that crop top? Like, aren't you a little old to still be trying to figure it out? That's peak existential bloom time. It's nobody's business.
I think the first time it was really impacting me was my last work environment. So many people were saying it about themselves and implying it when I would share stories of what I was doing. Like, oh, that's really wonderful. I could never do that. I'm just too old for that. I'm looking at them, looking at me, and I'm like, I know you're judging me right now. You just told me you're judging me. I think that's when it started kind of hitting me, and I started feeling like I'm becoming rigid with my ideals and like how I am seeing myself. And I'm starting to put the walls of the box up. And then I freaked out and I was like, I gotta get out of here.
It's because like your soul knew that like, no, 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 this is the wrong thing. You're like suffocating us
Yes.
in the process. And also it's like too late according to who? Like where did this construct even come from? Because we've been conditioned to believe that there is some sort of timeline on our lives. And if we miss it, then we've missed out and that's it. And I don't think that's true. Like I remember going to grad school in my 30s and I had taken like a big gap time off between school because the first part took me forever. And then I became a new mom, started a new job, and then went to grad school. And so everybody it had in their mind what my timeline was going to be. And then I changed it because I decided, which was a huge bold move, that, oh, I'm actually not going to pursue a career directly in what I went to college for. I'm going to try this other thing that came up. Still a very respectable career path. It was not a foreseen thing. It just kind of came up as an opportunity. And so I was very curious. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that instead. Everybody flipped out. Everybody had an opinion about like the timeline of my life and how I was going off track. Like, no, you're too old for this. You can't just change your mind now. Like, you already went to grad school, so you have to do the thing that you said you were going to do. And for years, even now to this day, and that's been like 15 years since that happened, people will still have an opinion of like, oh, you should just go back and do the thing that you said you were going to do to begin with, because they can't deal with the fact that like I chose to do something different at a different age in my way that didn't follow the script.
Yeah. You did it your way.
Exactly.
Culture pushes this prerogative, magazine headlines, job listings, TikTok trends.
You get to a certain point where you start to realize that all of that is just bullshit.
It's all noise.
Because look at us, right? Like you're a millennial. I'm a young Gen Xer. Thank you very much. And we're like, oh, hey, let's start a podcast. In the realm of like pop culture, it'd be like, oh no, like that's a young people's game. But why? Like, why does it have to be a young people's game? Right. And if we buy into it, then we suppress not only our lives and our light, but also opportunities for ourselves.
We've talked about this in other episodes. When you're trying to fit like other people's narratives of what your life is supposed to look like, you can lose yourself really easily. And it becomes incredibly hard to find your way back. There's like this saying that's like, if you're going the wrong direction, get off as soon as you recognize it. If you keep going that direction, it takes much longer to find your way back in the end.
And even now, like being in my 40s, to some people, they hear that and it feels so old, you know? And then for a moment, I was like, Oh yeah, like I'm in my 40s now. Now I have to make different decisions and they have to be like very carefully planned and thought out and long term. I started to feel that pressure of, oh shoot, why haven't I done all the things that I was supposed to quote unquote do by the time I got into my 40s? And also looking ahead, when you look ahead with that mindset, you start to think that the future is limited. I started to catch myself feeling like there's not going to be new job opportunities for me. Or now, like if I want to be curious about different career paths, I can't do that because now it's too late and I passed the window of opportunity.
Yeah.
And even for the best of us, like we get caught up in this narrative that is completely false. And the research proves this because what got me thinking about this topic is I read something about a study that was done in the late 70s called the Counterclockwise Study that literally showed that when adults were immersed in an environment from their youth, they physically improved. Their vision improved, their posture improved, their memory improved. They literally aged down just solely based on believing that they were still that version of themselves and shifting how they saw themselves. And that's so powerful because they didn't do anything else for this group besides that. Besides say, okay, you are now 20 years younger. And to help you believe that, we're going to put you in this environment. You're going to dress how you used to dress. You're going to listen to the music you used to listen to. You're going to eat the foods. You're going to talk about those times. And then you're going to go about your day as if you are that version of yourself. And it changed them completely. That's
That's
wild.
that's why I look so young, because my room hasn't changed since I was in my 20s. I mean, it's like new and improved, but it's the same, you know?
I also wonder, now that you're saying that, like, you know how, like, at a certain point in life, and if you're listening, you haven't gotten there yet, then kudos to you. But you stop listening to new music
And you only
and
listen
you
to what
only
you used
listen to
to.
your old music. And it's almost like there's a part of you that knows,
I mean, I listen to a lot of new music, but it's because I'm active in the music world.
but
Your
majority of the time
subconscious.
when you're like, hey, let me put something on that's going to make me feel good, is it a new song or is it an old song?
It depends. Like for me, you're gonna get a mixed bag. So sometimes it's new, sometimes it's old. And sometimes what I've noticed now that I'm getting older is that I'm becoming more open to genres than I was when I was younger. I was a little bit more critical when I was younger.
Yeah, when you were younger. Wink, wink.
But I can see that a lot of people would do that from a psychological standpoint and not even know that they were doing it. It's like
Yeah.
almost like they're time capsuling themselves.
And in the study, they noticed results in just 1 week. This wasn't like 6 months, a year, 2 years that they put them in. It was 1 week. That's like a vacation for most people. Like just in one vacation, you can change everything. And what was even more wild is that a lot of them actually looked visibly younger, like because their mindset changed, their biology, their body started to shift and change with it.
You know what I'm realizing as you're saying this is like this is a great opportunity for people who own Airbnbs. If they did time capsule Airbnbs that people can rent.
Or VRBO, because, you know, Airbnb.
Oh yeah, VRBO. I don't even. You know, when you said that, I was like, "What does virtual reality have to do with
VRB
this?"
right back? What? This is how you know you start aging out because the acronyms don't make any sense to you
No,
anymore.
like sometimes people say acronyms, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just figure it out later."
Every time you say MCE,
Yeah.
my brain just takes M and runs with it, and it's like Marvel, the Marvel character universe, and it's like not even close to what you're telling me.
You're all Marvel character enterprise. Got it.
Yeah,
Love it.
nailed it. The fact that research has proven that in over 50 years of studying this, that mindset changes everything. That age is just a number, but that it is the story that you attach to that number that determines your future because their age didn't change, right? They were all 56, 86, whatever the various ages were. So it's not our age that limits us, but it's what we've been conditioned to believe about our age that limits us. So same thing, like I'm in my 40s and I'm like, oh no, I have internalized these beliefs that by the time you're this age, you should have accomplished so much more. And now it's too late to pivot. And I got over that fast, y'all. I do still find moments where I'm like, I catch myself questioning it.
Sometimes I don't care enough, one might say. But then I have little moments where it's like, oh, maybe I missed the window for this, or maybe I missed the window for that. For me, particularly, like looking at the way that people attach their self worth to their roles, sometimes it gets a little ridiculous. Build a bear book for milestones. So we know age is a number, but it's the meaning we attach to that number, as you said, Andy, that defines what we think we can do.
Half the time, that meaning is something that we've made up based on information that we took in from somewhere. Whether somebody said something to us, like, oh, you're supposed to make sure you have an established career by the time you're 30 and have your first kid before you're 31 and make sure you have a 401k and a Sephora skincare routine, right? Either somebody said it to us, we heard it from somewhere, we saw it in pop culture, social media. If you're in the wrong algorithm stream, it could probably make you feel really bad about yourself. It's like, oh, yeah, this is what it looks like to be 40 and thriving. And it's like, lady, no. It's
Yeah.
not all roses and rainbows all the time.
You know what's funny is like being somebody that edits a lot of things like videos,
Mhm.
shows, podcasts, music. I have learned to not believe a lot of it because then you're just like, I see all this stuff that makes this seem so cool. All the things that you cut out, all the
All
retakes,
the
all the
tools, yeah,
tools
the
that are
AI.
utilized, the AI, the filters to make your skin look flawless, where you're trying to sell me something that you barely used for the first time.
Yes.
Had a
Okay,
bad
let's talk about
reaction to.
AI for a minute because I do think AI, and I'm going to use the example of like looking up skincare and makeup for aging skin. Because, yes, I have aging skin and my skin does not respond to things in the same way anymore. So I'm always like doing research, trying to find good, clean, simple products that actually work and don't cost $1 million. But a lot of advertisements will use like images of older women, even gray hair women, but their skin is flawless. And I'm like, no way. There are very few people in this world who look like that naturally at that age and have a full white head of hair
Yeah.
because AI created these images and then it starts to make older women feel more bad about themselves and you start buying more products. It's intentional, I get it. But it's a whole new level of stuff that's being shoved in your face at any age now. Maybe when we were younger, it was more like what you saw in magazines or what you saw on TV shows. But now it's like everywhere in all that we consume because we're on our phones and our computers all the time.
It's interesting because sometimes you can tell, but now it's gone so good. And here's the thing, it's a tool. So if you have a really good editor who
Mm-hmm.
knows how to edit live footage and knows how to utilize these tools to make it smooth and seamless, you're not going to be able to tell. As someone who can literally modify, I can take people, things, places, everything out. You would
Mm-hmm.
never tell. You would never know. I've showed our mom, and she's like, "You're like a weapon." But it's because like there's an attention to detail that you have to be able to do those things that the average person who doesn't normally edit wouldn't notice.
But now it's like in everybody's hands. People presenting themselves as everyday, ordinary people because they are, but they're using all this technology
All
and
these
especially
filters.
AI right now because
Mm-hmm.
it can even change your voice and all this stuff. These are our voices. This is how we sound.
Yeah.
If
Sorry.
you ever talk to us in person, this is what you're gonna get.
Yes, I agree with you. And it's also not just beauty influencers,
Mm-hmm.
it's just all of them. I had one, she's a scientist. She was like, just to be completely transparent, because I have a lot of young women that are following me. This is not the beauty standard. The filter off. She took all her makeup off. She showed what she really looked like. She's still a very beautiful woman, but yeah, not
Completely different.
flawless. Like dark circles around the eyes, like imperfections, like all the things, right? As we as women see ourselves when we just have no makeup on, it's a different experience than the very polished version that we're seeing consistently 24/7.
Yeah, because marketing and capitalism. I get that.
Yes, but let's reframe. What if getting older isn't decline, it's permission? To finally live for yourself, to create, to explore, to reclaim your timeline.
Yeah, and honestly, I've done
Mm-hmm.
more meaningful things after 40 than I ever did in my 20s and my 30s. I have been the most engaged, present, loving, kind person in my 40s, not only to people around me, but to myself in ways that I never would have done at a younger age. And I have opened myself up to just the idea of like doing things because I want to do them, whether or not they fit in some sort of success timeline or checklist.
That's the way to do it. But also, like, I guess you kind of have to have some kind of a checklist.
I mean, yeah, a loose guide for yourself, but it should not be what somebody else or something in society is subscribing to you. It should be something that you create on your own. So I have things that I'm like, oh, yeah, I'd like to be able to do X, Y, and Z, but I don't put a timeline on it. I don't say, oh, if I don't do this by the time I'm this age, then I'm taking it off the list and I'm never doing it. And a lot of people do that. They put timelines on things. It's like, well, if I don't achieve X, Y, and Z by the time I'm 30, then forget it.
Yeah, I mean, sorry everybody, but because we've lost so many people in our lifetime,
Mm,
me and Andy particularly have lost a lot of people. And when you lose people, it changes the way you see life.
mm,
And also, we've lost two very main characters in our family, which is our father and our middle sister.
mhm.
And I didn't realize the impact of that until therapy and all the good stuff. But one of the things is like death has always been something that I think of, not in a creepy way, but like, yeah, it's very prevalent in my mind. Like, that's going to happen.
You have to be an active participant in your life.
Yeah, but you should not waste your time overtly subscribing to the idealisms of the world. Because when you live for another person's outlook on your outcome, you're not living.
Mm-mm.
What beliefs about aging have you started to challenge in yourself?
If I want to do something, if I want to learn something, if I want to try something, if I want to take a course in something, if I want to create something, I'm just going to do
Yeah, you're funny.
it. Once in a blue moon, I'll just all of a sudden be like, I'm doing this wild thing.
This question to me is funny because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, Andy has always kind of just done it.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to take a Pilates class, you like told no one, and you're like, I'm taking Pilates. Like, like,
Back when Pilates wasn't even that big of a
yeah, it
deal.
wasn't. I
Like
didn't
it
even know
wasn't
what it
as
was.
well known. Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? Karate?
You
You're like, Pilates.
know, actually that's one of the things that I think sometimes back then, if I would have had the money, it was very expensive because it was not very widely known back
Hmm.
then in the way
Yeah,
it is now. To become a Pilates instructor, I probably would have done it.
because you loved it.
Yeah. I
I
still
remember
love it.
that.
The training for it was really expensive. It was like a whole deal. Well, that's interesting that you say that because I think that's always been a part of my personality.
Yeah.
And it's probably too because I think grief and loss has impacted me maybe a little differently in
Mhm.
that I haven't really thought about it specifically in terms of timeline, but I have always felt like time's not promised.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to do it, you know? And if it doesn't work out, oh well. I might be sad about it. I might be mad about it. I might not even care. And then just going to keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, just challenging those things in myself. I think I had to challenge myself more the closer I got to 40, and now I'm past that. But once I started to get there, I that's the moment when I really felt the pressure of aging, and not just aging, but aging as a woman. The number of people who I know that brought up I needed to dye my hair because I was showing too many grays blew my mind. Because for me, I was like, no, I earned this. This is all the stress, trauma, the shit that I've been through. Like, I
Uh,
survived. This is proof of my survival and the skill that it took to get here, knowing everything I had been through. But for other people, and especially women, I don't think there was ever a man that commented on my hair.
uh-huh.
But women, always. Oh, are you going to dye your hair soon? Oh, when are you going to dye your hair? Oh, you're starting to get some grays. You should dye your hair. And it very much felt to me like you need to mask up.
Need
You're
to
showing
hide.
your age and you need to hide it because you're not going to be accepted. And it's embarrassing or it's shameful or whatever individual people were feeling about the fact that my age was showing. And the little rebel in me was like, screw that. I'm gonna let it all grow out. And I did. I just like totally went batshit crazy. I was like, I don't care.
Women aging is a whole different ballgame. Women aging is you get to 34, 35, and they start saying, aren't you so excited? 40 is right around the corner. Like, you don't even get to have 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. You're just 40 in their eyes now. And
You're crossing over to the other side at this point.
It's like, did I die? Like, what the fuck? It's such a bizarre thing. And then one of the things that I get a lot is like, you look so young for your age. You get that too.
Thanks, Mom.
Our mom is aging like fine wine.
Yeah, our mom's Caribbean skin really. We didn't get the pigment of it, but we definitely got the like youthfulness.
The bone structure and the youthfulness. It's interesting because that to me was always kind of an insult. They would be like, "Oh, you look so young. You don't even understand." And it's like, what do you mean? Because I look younger, you think that I'm more privileged. And in some respects, it is true. And that's really messed up because it shouldn't be that way. People should be allowed to be who they are.
Yeah.
Any age, any orientation, any sex, gender, whatever. And they should just be allowed to exist and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. But aging is, it's one of those things that, like, no matter how far we feel we've come, it's a huge stigma. Ageism is alive and well, y'all. It is alive and well.
It's thriving, girl.
Yes, especially for women. And instead of becoming an empowering thing, it's become a marketing tool.
Well, for American culture, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's other cultures and civilizations where aging is actually seen as the older you get, the wiser you are. So the more respected you are. And
there's a book, it's called The Heroine's Journey. And if anybody wants to do like a deep dive into this, it's a good read. But it talks about the different stages of life that women usually go through. And from our younger selves to our middle-aged selves to our older selves. And there was a journey that you go to become the wise crone, which the crone, it was a respected title. Like, wow, you made it. You got this far and you have so much wisdom to share now with the people coming behind you. And somewhere along the line, that middle part got cut out. So like you were saying, you just literally hit that nail on the head right now of you went from 35 to old crone. It wasn't even like respected crone. It was just old crone.
Yeah, and it's only when I tell them my age, because when I mention, oh, I'm in, my 30s, they're like, what? What do you mean? And then all of a sudden everything changes, which is really interesting because
that middle part gets left out and it's judged so harshly.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, don't worry. You at least look like you're 25. I'm like, why would I be worried?
Yeah, why does it matter?
Some Western societies, especially those that emphasize individualism, that's where they really, really have a hard time with respecting people's aging process, I guess. They tend to be more ageist, but it's actually known still to this day, Mediterranean, Latin cultures, Southern Asian cultures, Middle Eastern cultures, and African cultures, including indigenous people, believe their elders play a vital role in preserving their stories, their timelines, and their community.
Yeah, I believe that. But I do still think, even in those cultures, there is this middle piece that is forgotten. It is you are the young, youthful one, or you're the elder.
It's that old narrative that people tell themselves because in the middle of your life, you're supposed to be raising a family. And that is like your only role. Even if you are a parent now and you're raising a family, you can be multiple things. They're not just one role. And so I think that's where we need like a revolution. And then the other part is in capitalism, they project a lot of their marketing to youth to subject people to certain ways of thinking. And it's very problematic. We just saw that on the American Apparel Major Fail documentary because they're more susceptible to purchasing, but the contradictory, they say middle-aged women should want to look like these young women.
Don't show your age. You have to pretend like you're not. But no, bullshit. And also, a middle-aged man is at the peak of his success. He's revered. He's starting to become a silver fox versus a middle-aged woman just forgotten. If you're not a mother and you're only doing that and nothing else, then do you even exist?
You're a cat lady.
Or a dog mom. At the beginning of this whole episode, we talked about how when you start to age, this is when you start to come back to yourself. This is when you start to really expand and blossom. And this is the perfect time for you to do new things and try new things and explore and expand because you have life experience now and you have wisdom that can come along with you versus trying to crouch yourself into, oh, let's use the metaphor of trying to stuff yourself into that tiny Forever 21 dress that is no longer 21.
I love them, even though they're gone forever.
They're gone forever. Even they knew it was not Forever 21.
They're like, for a while, 21.
And when we buy into these like invisible age limits that we start to internalize because it's constant messaging, we then sabotage ourselves.
A lot of times when you tell yourself that you can only do X, Y, and Z and you put like an expiration date, there shouldn't be an expiration date if you truly believe in yourself. Because any person who's lived through life, there's always a give and take.
Yeah, it's that you're buying into all the external noise and you don't want to be judged for going off timeline or you don't want people to talk about you. It's like, no, being an outlier, which I think most of us are kind of meant to be in some way, shape, or form.
The stories we attach to our age are usually inherited, not chosen, but they can be rewritten.
100%.
So let's talk about receipts, because you know we love a good list of badass people who popped off later in life.
We have a whole list of people here, and this list is probably way longer, but we're only going to touch on a few that I think most people will recognize. Viola Davis, love her. She actually didn't get her breakout role until her 40s.
She's wonderful.
Amazing. You know what this means, right? We can go be movie stars. Vera Wang, I did know about this one. She entered fashion at 40. Before that, she was a figure skater and a journalist. So not only did she become huge as a fashion designer, I think she started with wedding dresses, had two other completely different careers. And then the one that blew up and made her the most money and the most notoriety was fashion.
Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 50. Child. I love me a good Julia Child recipe. Lots of butter. Toni Morrison published her first novel at 39 and won the Nobel Peace Prize in her 60s.
Awesome. Samuel L. Jackson got his big break at 43. Stan Lee created his first hit comic at 39.
Oh my
and
God.
Spider-Man came even later than that. So his first comic book that became a hit, he was almost 40.
That's pretty cool.
And then lived this long life, enough to see like the whole Marvel universe play out in movies, which is pretty incredible.
Colonel Sanders started KFC in his 60s.
Yeah, that's crazy. Morgan Freeman, that's another one. I don't know if there's ever going to be another Morgan Freeman because that voice is so iconic. But he didn't get his big acting break until he was 50 in the movie Driving Miss Daisy.
But Morgan Freeman tweeted and said, "Someday he will die." And everyone in the comments was like, "I heard that in your voice."
That felt too real. If you're an oldie but goodie and you remember Little House on the Prairie TV show, it was actually a book first. And Laura Ingalls Wilder published that book at the age of 65. It became a hit and then became a hit TV series.
Oh, one of my favorites, Pedro Pascal, became incredibly famous after his 30s, I think it was. Because he was like in stuff, but he talks about like having to be really frugal.
Pedro Pascal put a time limit. At one point, he was like, I'm not going to act past the age of 29, like if I haven't made it. But now he's 50, and now he's like
at the peak of his career.
So many opportunities at his doorstep.
Lucille Ball became a household name with I Love Lucy at the age of 40. And John Hamm was casted in Mad Men at 36 after years of being rejected in Hollywood. Which is crazy because that was an iconic role and Mad Men was huge.
Oprah is often listed, although I would say Oprah like built her career for decades, but she didn't really hit that next level status until after she was 50.
Bryan Cranston, well, he acted for years. got his start in Breaking Bad at the age of 52. Melissa McCarthy, well, she acted as well. She really gained her peak fame in Bridesmaids at the age of 41 after years in TV and minor roles.
Or that one actress that I love, Michelle Yeoh. She was 60 when she won her Oscar, her first Oscar nomination ever, and she actually won. She's incredible. Amazing.
I mean, what are we learning here? We're learning that age is irrelevant when you are dedicated to what you want to do. I think that's really what we're learning more than anything. Sometimes it is the right place, right time kind of thing. Sometimes it is who you know. And other times it's just that you didn't give up, that you didn't just give in to that little voice in your head, whoever put it there, whatever put it there, of the narrative that you're telling yourself that you are no longer a viable option, whether it be a job, a dream career, family, a partner, any kind of major checklist item. The reality is that as long as you believe in yourself, you're capable of reaching it in this lifetime, more than likely.
So the next time someone says, "Aren't you too old for that?" send them this list and block them with love. Now is exactly the right time because I'm ready, because I want it, because I'm going to put my heart into it, because whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah. Unless it's like when I was younger and I used to roll on the ground and pretend I was a like parkour genius. Obviously I wouldn't do that now because I would break my hip, but everything else is fair game.
I mean, listen, this is my motto in life. You always have a choice, and that choice is yours. Now, the consequences of each choice, you also have to be aware of that, right? If I choose to parkour in the parking lot at 45, that's on you, boo.
I'm rolling that ankle, girlfriend.
So, what do we do with all of this?
We write our own damn narrative because aging is inevitable, but limitation is optional.
Instead of "I'm too old," reframe it. Now is the perfect time. I've never been more ready. I get better with every season. Yes, I am more capable now, more aware now, more honest now, more in touch with who I am now than I was before. So now I get to approach this in an even better version of myself. So you're not too old, you're not too late, you're not behind. This is all about how you want to live your life and what you decide you want to do now and just doing it.
And you always want to account for the fact that the person you are when you're in your teenage years and your 20s and sometimes even in your 30s, they're all different versions. And that means it comes with a different bag of wants and needs and joys. Allowing yourself the gift of exploring those things is what life is all about. You want to lean into exploring these new likes and things that excite you and things that you're inquisitive about. And I think that's what this whole episode kind of encompasses is like it's never too late for you to try to reach a different goal, but also like Andy said earlier, or just try something new completely. Even if you don't like it, even if you end up saying, "Well, that was a total waste of time." But you gave it a shot.
Yeah, because the outcome doesn't matter. Like, I love doing things now just to learn something new. And that feels fun and exciting for me. There's no real goal with it aside from that, is like, I want to use my brain. I want to keep it healthy. I want to keep it happy. And the best way to do that is to train myself how to do new things on a regular basis, to keep challenging myself. And that's enough. And in that, I get a lot of joy out of learning new things.
And purposeful aging through meaningful goals is associated with longer life, better brain health, improved emotional resilience, and greater overall satisfaction. So think about that next time you want to tell yourself that you're not capable or interested or willing in trying something you actually want to do.
Well said. So, whether you're 26 or 66, this is your invitation to stop shrinking yourself based on someone else's expiration date. Let's get one thing straight. You are not too old, too late, too behind, or expired because you are not a carton of oat milk, sis. You are a whole miracle in progress.
Exactly. It's not your age that's the problem, it's the meaning you've attached to it. And usually that meaning, someone else handed it to you.
Tag us with your too old to what moments. We want to hear them. Leave a review, share this with someone who needs it, and remember,
You're just getting started.
bye.
Bye.